It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. It takes.
Oh.
Yep, that's good. I like this. It's scarier.
It is.
Oh, it's much scarier now.
It's scarier, and there's kind of an energy to it that is unlike any film I've seen. This is kind of juggernaut that starts and it just bulldozes through. It's scarier. I would say it's kind of weirdly funnier. At the moment.
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know what you can expect.
Neither of you.
But
I've seen only parts of it.
there's lots of
But they were scary.
reveals too, and tie-ins with the Harry Potter universe that will hopefully be very exciting for people.
Yeah, it's much more complex too.
Yeah.
It's much more layered.
The last film felt like a romp in
is a
comparison.
thing.
Didn't it?
A new thing is Paris,
Yeah.
which is very beautiful.
Did a lot of self-flagellating.
That's genuinely true.
Tina has been reinstated as an R, and I did want her movements to be more confident than the last film, but it was hugely helped, as it always is, character is always helped by costume. And
It's a shame though because we have such a shitty costume designer on there.
yeah, Colleen Atwood,
She's so bad at
multi-Oscar
her job,
winner,
so I don't-
and she's.
I'm always like, okay, but
I guess this will work.
can we get some professional to do the costume? Because
But as I was saying, no, the clothes really helped that stuff, and I was in quite a stiff, restricting coat, so it helped me feel. It helped even keep me up straight. It's hard to do, in fact, actually, when you're so tall.
There was an amazing thing Catherine did before each take. So she had this, it really is quite formidable leather, dark blue leather coat. And it had this, and before each take she would wrench herself into it with this sort of, this belt. And it kind of changed your posture, didn't it?
Yeah, it held me together. If only we could. It's complicated.
It is complicated. But there is hope. Like at the end of the last film there was hope, and then at the beginning of this film it's been kind of ruptured through miscommunication, and two people that aren't brilliant at communicating generally have struggled even more through circumstance. But they're desperate to find each other, and they do find each other, but all they really need to do is just sit down and clear some air and everything will be fine.
They're just so busy, though. Is the
so
problem.
busy.
They're so busy trying to, stop Grindelwald. It's not easy.
well, I do have magic powers.
Oh,
so
right. What's it like?
it's fun. It's fine. It's very dangerous though.
Right, can be.
Yeah, magic is, you don't really want to play with it. What I like to say is there's no lifeguard on duty.
That's
so you
true.
really have to swim at your own risk.
Okay. I would like to apparate because it's just convenient. I'm quite impatient as a person, and I'd just like to be like, I want to be sitting next to Ezra now, and rather than have to stand up and walk
All
over
the way
there, I
over
could just
there.
go.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh!
Yeah, I suppose too, you don't give people the chance to refuse you. Like, if I could just apparate onto Ezra's lap, and he wouldn't have time to be like, whoa, what are you doing?
That's
I would
verging on
never
harassment.
do that. Everyone in this cast can always come and somehow
To
tell me
apparate.
what you want.
Laparate?
Yeah. Laparation. You are very clever. That is a good pun. Transfiguration.
Potions. Do you know what? One of my favourite bits of the last film was down in Newt's case when Dan Fogler's character was ill and he just was like rubbing together. So I love taking being like a human pestle and mortar. It's quite satisfying, like juicing a leaf. Just me?
No.
No.
I might second on
I like
potion.
you doing that too. Oh yeah. No, I have a horrid time of it. Honestly, it hurts my body. Is what I'd say. Is that it's painful, and that he's a murderer, which is hard. I'll tell you, it's hard to be a murderer. You have to think about it all the time. The people you murdered, what it would have been like if you didn't murder them. It's all very boring. No, yeah, it's hard. I find it hard to, I think, just playing a character with these wounds for a long time, too. I played troubled characters before in my career, but never for
6-7 months
6-7 months periods at a time, and then I kind of can't. I feel like he's there now, and there's little things, like sometimes I'll just notice my shoulder coming up when I'm naturally in a place of anxiety or depression, which I suffer with depression, so then I'll be like, you know what I mean? And so yeah, it can be a little difficult.
Are you good at the end of a job at being able to let the character go?
But the trouble with this is we're not done with the story.
Totally, and you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm really bad at that anyway, because I always feel like the external is the internal reality, and so once I find that, then I know it's there. It's how I felt about characters since I first started doing it. I was like, oh, dang it, now that's a part of me that I'm aware of.
Yeah. And then you become a sort of...
It's a good thing then.
Credence, and I have to live with him because, between the two films, I traveled as Credence for months. I was on tour with my band, and I would just be in the back of the bus looking out the window at the passing fields as Credence. I would go to pubs as Credence and have these people be deeply concerned for me, trying to be, what's going on with you? And I couldn't talk to them. And yeah, I like to carry him. It just sometimes hurts.
Yeah. Although not so much a zoo, right? Because at least it's a kind of paradise for them where they're
more of a sanctuary. More of a sanctuary than a zoo.
And that was actually quite important in the design of the case. I know they spent a lot of time in the first film trying to design what the case was like, so it didn't look like a zoo. It
like
wasn't
a prison for
where they were being sort of kept. It was where they were being
allowed to thrive.
Allowed to thrive. That's exactly what it is.
Sorry.
I know, it's brilliant.
I'll
It's
let you
right.
just finish your own
No,
sentence for a bit.
I love it when you finish my sentence. I think my favourite creature, in this new film, it's it's a toss-up between actually a Chinese creature called the Zhou and the little baby Nifflers, and for very different reasons. Zhou because it's sort of huge and powerful and terrifying, but then can turn into the sweetest. It has these eyes, these like incredibly expressive eyes. That the second that it's like feels love, it kind of turns into like you just want to hug it, basically. And then the baby Nifflers, because they're nuisances and they're so sweet, and you could just have one in the palm of your hand.
I'd like to.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I may have said that, but I'm not sure if I was right in saying that. She has, she can feel a bit awkward sometimes, or not quite know what to say sometimes. But I think in high stakes situations, she's very expressive and sometimes even a little explosive.
Mr. Commander!
Yeah. I've definitely, and I've given him a lot of lip. I've given him a hard time. And they actually, it's one of my favorite things about their dynamic is that they can kind of bicker with each other freely, even though in many situations they both are quite self-contained.
Yeah, but they're kind of getting off on it as well.
Yeah. It's like they become more verbal in their flirtation with one another than maybe they are in other circumstances.
Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald is the greatest movie in the world. Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I would say...
Was that Brando?
Brando did this one BMW commercial.
BMW is the greatest vehicle in the world. BMW.
Is it? I gave $1 million.
Yeah. But I'd also say that it's like that the last film, the first film, was like a romp and was kind of the introduction to these characters, and this film takes you back to Hogwarts and back to the world of Potter with kind of a rigor and an intensity that I hadn't seen before, and that's what excited me about it.
Yeah.
Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald is the greatest movie
Greatest movie ever made. Go see it. Enjoy. What just happened? I'm scared.
Just
Drop your microphone.
My microphone fell in a teacup. See, I mentioned Grindelwald, and that
And
happened.
yes,
You just got to be
yes.
very careful.
Parasympathetic magic. Oh my gosh.
You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a little bit more
Yeah,
itchy.
it's okay. I'm just not gonna. No,
Shall I put it down
okay.
here? Shall I put it down there?
I'm okay.
Delicious.